Okay, if everything has gone according to plan, we should be live on YouTube. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Weekends with Avrona. I have no idea why the screen was black there. Blame OBS on that one. Whenever, I don't know why, but it has some weird thing with my cam link, which I use to connect up the camera. So basically, whenever I do anything in OBS, I need to physically disconnect and reconnect my Elgato cam link. Otherwise, it freaks out. Don't ask me why. Again, blame OBS, blame Elgato, blame whoever for this. But it was a pretty interesting week, and after the last one, I mean, I feel like the last Weekends with Avrona was just the most depressing one yet. So this one, I mean, I don't think it's going to be much better, but it is slightly better, as I'll kind of go into. Between just the chaos caused by the tariffs and what it's going to mean for your favorite tech, and between stuff like the switch to getting its pre-orders cancelled not only in the US but also in Canada as well, yet Canada is also being punished for America's behavior, and a stock market that can be only described as bipolar. But don't worry, because things are slightly getting at least somewhat better. So we have to address one major thing that people have been worried about, and that is how the tariffs are going to impact your favorite tech, and if you're planning on buying literally anything in the foreseeable future. They were supposed to go into effect on the 9th of April, which meant that any new things you buy from, well, usually places like China or Taiwan, which is where most of your tech comes from, that would be tariffed, and especially with China. I mean, like, we're talking 100+%, I think it reached like 125% at some point. Again, they change constantly, and they may not even be charged because of some issue at some American docks. The tariffs aren't even being charged correctly. It's a whole mess. It's a whole thing. But one major revelation that came is that your tech could actually be saved from the tariffs, at least for now. So let's take a quick look at how exactly that is going to look. So this just came out earlier today. Smartphones and computers are now exempt from Trump's latest tariffs. So we talked about a bit last time how semiconductors specifically are exempt and how that's big, especially for the tariffs from Taiwan. But now this is exactly what it looks like. Apparently they saw that iPhones are going to cost $30,000 if they're made exclusive in the US, so someone intervened. Anyway, electronics imported to the United States will be exempt from President Donald Trump's reciprocal tariffs, according to a U.S. Customs and Border Protection notice posted late Friday. Oh, so that's from yesterday. Well, I guess time zones, whatever. It would be today in here in Europe. Smartphones, computer monitors, and various electronic parts are amongst the exempted products. The exemption applies to products entering the United States or removed from warehouses as early as April 5th, according to the notice. The exemption, which comes out of Trump administration on Wednesday, imposed a minimum tariff of 145% on Chinese goods imported to the United States, does not include the 20% tariff on Chinese goods for a country's role in the fentanyl trade. The tariff exemption would have a major impact on tech giants like Apple, which makes iPhones and other products in China. Yeah, I mean, a lot of, companies have been trying to... This was coming, a long time coming. Even under Biden, the trade war was kind of heating up and people were shifting production to other countries. I mean, famously, Nintendo have been shifting a lot of the Switch 2 production over to Vietnam, only for Vietnam to also be slapped with tariffs. But whatever, this is a huge, huge win because, again, it is not just semiconductors as it was before. Now it's completed devices, smartphones, tablets, as I said, computer monitors, graphics cards, CPUs, motherboards, RAM, storage. All of it appears to be completely exempt. So all of a sudden, all of your big players, just the stocks obviously just skyrocketed. I say skyrocketed, returned to the pre-chaos levels, to the levels they were like 2 weeks ago at least. Because all of the big guys, like Apple, Nvidia, Microsoft, like the ones being mentioned here, they don't have to worry about these as much now. One thing I'm very curious about is how far they're going to go in defining computer components. Because the things I'm really curious about is fans, cases, that kind of stuff. Things that have pretty much no electronics, or scarce electronics, but are used in computers. But I don't think there's a full list anywhere here in this CNN article, actually. If anyone has a proper list of everything, that would be very, very, very helpful. But also things like what, TVs, speakers, headphones, anything like that, any kind of peripherals as well, that should all be exempt. That's going to be very interesting given how some companies, I know Height has introduced price increases. Companies like Framework have also introduced a price increase. What was actually funny is that they very specifically stated, I don't know about Height, I haven't looked into the Height one as much, but for Framework, they specifically stated that their tariffs only apply to American customers, which is funny to say the least. And also, I could say a lot more, but I won't. But I wonder how it's going to look like now that it's been reverted. Obviously, some companies, it is just natural that some of these companies are basically just gonna increase the prices or use the tariffs as an excuse to increase the prices. And now that the tariffs are gone, at least for now, they're gonna keep them increased because that's what they do. For companies like Framework, though, I feel like they are a morally upstanding company enough, given how the whole mantra is, being able to repair stuff, repairability, sustainability, and giving power to consumers. I believe that they're the kind of company that would do it. As Height as well, quite a few of the other companies who would get so easily busted for doing so. A lot of the companies put themselves in a very unfortunate situation by well, I say unfortunate for them, for to try and do anything sneaky. For us, it's great because a lot of these companies, they didn't want to just be caught increasing the prices out of nowhere, so they made it very, very clear on social media and whatnot that they are doing this just because they have to. It will be unsustainable to continue at the current prices because of the tariffs, so they made the hard decision, uncomfortable decision, the tough decision. They usually put something like that, one of those buzzwords in the like press statements. Whatever kind of buzzwords do they use? Like they usually use tough, unfortunate, like you know what I'm talking about. They usually kind of say something along those lines, and they talk about how they had to do it in order to make the products make sense and to be sustainable. So now they kind of have to walk back unless they just want to be completely destroyed online and lose kind of faith. It'll be very, very difficult, I feel, for a company to ignore the kind of backlash they would get for not reverting any price increases that they explicitly stated were because of these American tariffs. So that is also going to be up to you guys watching. Make sure that you pay attention to which companies do walk back on price increases and which companies don't, right? So they cannot fly under the radar now. Don't allow them to just quietly keep those price increases like nothing ever happened, okay? Okay. That's very, very important for you guys watching. Make sure you actually don't let them forget that they increased the prices because of tariffs that appear to be, gone. Well, not gone. The tariffs will still be there, but at least these components are exempt from them. That was a long tangent. What are we talking about? Okay, so I'm trying to see if there's like a bigger list of stuff. Oh, okay, this is going to be good. Nintendo said on April 4th that it will postpone the US pre-order date of its Switch 2 gaming console to assess the potential impact of tariffs and evolving market conditions. Initially priced at $450, the Switch 2 can instead cost around $600 as a result of tariffs, according to experts. Yeah, so hopefully that won't be happening anymore. There was a lot of talk. I saw that even like ex-Nintendo employees, like current Nintendo employees, were saying that Nintendo should just eat the tariffs to get some goodwill back from their consumers, which would make sense, especially because it wouldn't even be that unheard of. Most companies usually sell consoles at a loss or with like pretty much no profit margins just to make up for it with the games. And given the prices they'll be charging for Nintendo Switch 2 games, like with Mario Kart World or all of those like upgrade packs or upgrade passes, whatever they're called, for your other games that are already out for the Switch, it would kind of make sense. So, but now again, it looks like they won't have to do it. So it's gonna be very, very interesting. So what? Are they just gonna restart the pre-orders like nothing ever happened now? I don't know. It's going to be kind of weird. It's going to be just the biggest like nothing burger ever. You know that meme, like nothing ever happens. They always win. When you bet, the people that bet that nothing ever happens, they always end up winning. Can you actually just bet on sites like Polymarket on just nothing, just pure nothing? Bet on nothing. That's a lesson of this entire week, really. Anyway, speaking of, there has been some talk about what it's gonna look like now when it comes to getting pre-orders restarted for the Switch 2, because like you've probably heard, they were also cancelled for Canada as well, but thankfully I managed to pre-order one myself. It was hard. A lot of places are just completely sold out here in the UK as well, but I did manage to get a pre-order in, so hopefully there will be a video about that when it goes live on the 5th of June. So hoping to have an unboxing out, hoping to have a review out soon after that, comparing exactly, the performance and whatnot. But yeah, if you are, unfortunately living in one of the countries where the pre-orders were cancelled, here's what the situation looks like, at least for now. It looks like they will be going into the first phase of sending out invites to pre-orders. Those will be from like the official Nintendo ones, like the ones where you have to be a Nintendo Switch Online member and you have to have at least so many hours clocked the Switch 2. Yeah, so those should start going out on the 8th of May. So that is still quite a long ways away. But again, things are moving so fast that this article posted yesterday at 11:06 a.m. Pacific time, which is, that's like what, 8 hours? Is it UTC minus 8? I think something like that. Even that is probably going to be kind of outdated at this point because of how quickly things are moving. I've very much imagined that the poor guys at Nintendo, I shouldn't be saying the poor guys, they're still scamming us on a new console and games, but still, the poor guys over Nintendo who thought they're going to be enjoying a nice relaxing weekend, just being stuck in meetings all day trying to do something about this chaotic situation. I don't envy them. Again, on the one hand, there's a lot to complain about when it comes to the strategy for the Switch 2. There's a lot to roast them for, and a lot of things that they deserve to be called out on. But I also kind of feel bad because there's just so much that is just out of their control. Such a big fire that they have to now try to put out that was caused by these tariffs. So I very much imagine that this is not going to be the case anymore, that we could be seeing the first pre-orders going not just from Nintendo themselves, but also all of the other kind of stores that are going to be selling them. Like, I don't even know who sells Switch 2s in the US. I guess Amazon, people like that. Yeah, I can't see them waiting all the way until the 8th of May. I feel it's going to be... I know things have been up and down and up and down and up and down, but things like these kind of pauses are going to be very difficult to revert. I don't know what would have to happen at the White House for them to walk back on these being... on these specific exemptions being somehow reversed. So we'll have to wait and see. But again, I don't know, like, yeah, Best Buy, Target, Walmart, so on, yeah, I don't imagine that they will wait until May, like the second week of May. I could see probably by the end of next week that you guys across the pond will finally be able to pre-order yourself a Nintendo Switch 2. So, I mean, that is really it. I just wanted to help explain what on earth is going on in the world right now a bit, because there's a lot going on. And I hope this quick live stream, it wasn't too long. Just, how long have we been streaming for, actually? Yeah, 15 minutes. So hopefully you enjoyed this economics lesson with Avrona. That's what I should be renaming this this live stream to now, because that's what the last 2 weeks have been, just talking about the implications of the chaos in the world right now. So again, the situation is changing every single day. I could be very much here next week talking about how the whole situation is 180 again and things aren't looking as great. But for now, it looks like you don't have to worry about your prices going up on any kind of PC components you're planning on buying on your Switch 2 or any other consoles or anything else really tech-wise. Though again, I'm very curious to see how they're going to define some computer components, especially stuff like fans or cases, which, you know, technically they do have some electronic components in them, you know, stuff like your USB hubs at the front. Some cases, you know, have some kind of like daughter boards to control the IO at the front. Fans obviously have controllers on them as well. So again, it's going to be very interesting to see how they're going to define all of that. But let me know your thoughts on all of this. Let me know actually if you managed to get a pre-order in as well for yourself. And actually, I'm curious to know if you pre-ordered a Switch 2 in the US or Canada prior to the cancellation, like what happened then? Like were you just refunded or like what happened? I'm kind of curious. Also, if you're wondering why I'm constantly looking up there, well, that's just because that's where I have my all my stream details. But I think we should be kind of just wrapping up the stream here. So hopefully not next week. Actually, no, let me quickly check my calendar, because we are going to have a very, very special guest coming on the show soon. I'm so happy because it's been way too long it's been way too long of just me being the only person on the show. It's great to have someone else to kind of do some of the talking instead of just me ruining my voice for, you know, half an hour, if not longer, in one of these shows. So yeah, not next week, but a week after, I'm pretty sure, is when our kind of special guest will hopefully be on. It's been very annoying to try and get our schedules schedules synchronized, because he travels a lot, I travel a lot. But yeah, and if you have any kind of particular guests that you want on as well, well, let me know. Again, like I always say, let me know what you want from the show as well, because I don't want it just to me I don't want me just reciting news and me complaining and ranting about stuff. I want to be varied. I want to have fun projects, and I think that I have some pretty cool stuff planned for some of the future weekends of Avrona. I'm just going to say that. We have some stuff coming in. Make It Last Media says, what are you using to stream? I mean, just like software-wise? Software, I'm just using OBS, like everyone on the planet, I'm pretty sure. Okay, I think some people use like Streamlabs or like stuff like that. I mean, there's some crazy people out there who probably just use the integrated stream on like the NVIDIA app or like the AMD app. But yeah, I just use OBS. It's great, but again, I have some issues, like the fact whenever I do anything in it, or like I switch scenes, I have to physically disconnect and reconnect my Elgato Cam Link, and because otherwise it doesn't, like, all I just get is a black screen when it comes to my camera feed. I have no idea why. So yeah, hopefully it's just a bug, and hopefully it's going to get resolved in the future, but it is very, very annoying. If you're asking hardware wise, like camera, it is my main shooting camera, which I use in all my videos as well, which is the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 6K Pro. I'm not streaming in 6K. I'm only I'm streaming in 4K, but the camera itself is like it is 6K. Lion Lawrence just asked, what ASRock X870E Nova Wi-Fi motherboard? Like, what do you mean, what? Like, what about it? I mean, it's from what I've seen, it's pretty good. I don't think I've done a video about it just yet. I haven't covered too many X870E motherboards, so I mostly cover X870 stuff or budget X870E stuff, or like, you know, budget chipset B815 stuff like that. X870E motherboards are obviously way more expensive, and obviously they aren't as popular. So I only really focus on doing videos that are on motherboards that most people can actually afford. I remember I did a video a while back, like an overview of one of MSI's godlike motherboards, if I remember correctly, and like no one cared, because you know, sure, on the one hand, it's really awesome what you can get in a motherboard for like $1,000, and I think those kind of videos could do well just from seeing cool tech, but especially in overview models, videos where I don't show too much of the motherboards themselves. I think it's very difficult to get across why it's awesome to have a $1,000 motherboard. So I mostly just focus on having, you know, motherboard overview videos on models that people can actually afford. That's kind of my main my main strategy there when it comes to motherboard videos. So yeah, in terms of it, it looked pretty fine. Actually, we can just do a to refresh my memory. I'm just going to quickly X870E and Nova Wi-Fi. How much is it nowadays? Because ASRock motherboards are never too expensive. So even though it is an X870E motherboard, I highly doubt it's going to be too much. Let me quickly check. It's $350. Oh, that is a pretty good price for an X870E board, man. ASRock motherboards. ASRock are like unbeatable when it comes to value. Are they still offering that one like crazy X870 board for like $220? They like just go ASRock this generation. They do some weird stuff. They have some very, very questionable choices, but they are just unbeatable when it comes to value. I know some people got slightly scared because they were burning up X3D CPUs, I think, this generation, but there was like 1 or 2 incidents and then it kind of died down and no one cares anymore. But yeah, this looks absolutely phenomenal for $350. Let me just quickly switch over to this so you can actually see what I'm talking about. It is a whole process, however, just to kind of switch over it in OBS. So let me just quickly grab this window, grab it over here, and switch over. There we are. One of the main things I always look at in a motherboard is just the rear I/O, because that is one of the main things that most people care about. Sure, you know, it's nice when you have more PCIe expandability and whatnot. Most people do not care. Most people are just going to stick with their one graphics card, maybe a capture card or a sound card, or like a 10 gig Ethernet card if they have a NAS or something. But apart from that, the thing that affects day-to-day usability is going to be that rear I/O. And for $350, I mean, it looks pretty good. You get 10 USB Type-A ports, dual USB, USB 40 gig, 5 gig Ethernet. I mean, yeah, this is a pretty sweet board. It also looks phenomenal. It looks like something that Gigabyte Aorus would make. It's in a very exact same theming. It looks like it could be like a rejected version of the X870E Master from Aorus. That's what it kind of reminds me of. It's kind of like an alternate reality version of that one. One thing I just noticed, and it's kind of triggering me, look at the HDMI on the back. It's not horizontal. No, which way? It's not parallel to the motherboard. I guess that's a way of putting it. It's like perpendicular to the rest of the I/O on the motherboard, which is just kind of weird. It's good for space efficiency, I'll give them that, but it just kind of looks weird, I guess. Kind of throws me off. But yeah, looks really good. If you have the money for that, I'd say go for it. You get the looks, you get the connectivity. I also imagine that the storage situation is pretty decent. For say the connectors, you get, wait, am I seeing it correctly? 5 and not 2 slots? Okay, yeah. Yeah, I thought I just couldn't count for a second, but no, that is actually 5. Okay, I still have to make a video on this now. This is actually such a cool motherboard. Granted, one of those is tied to one of your PCIe slots, but again, it really doesn't matter who puts that many things in the PCIe slots nowadays. Like one graphics card, maybe a sound card, but you're probably using like an external interface, and then maybe a 10 gig card if you have a NAS. Which GPU is best? 9800X3D or Intel 285K for gaming and YouTube streaming? And for just pure gaming, the X3D SKUs absolutely clear everything else. There are some areas where the Intel is better, but just for pure game performance, the X3D CPUs are completely unbeatable. For editing, it's going to be interesting. I would have to look into it, but I would assume the 285K has a couple more cores. So I think that could come in very useful for editing. Again, really depends on what you use to export your videos as well, given how much video editing is just GPU bound now. So you want a good graphics card first and foremost for editing, and then it really just depends how you're exporting after that. So yeah, I said I wanted to do more stuff than just reciting news, and boom, just build a device. There we go, adding variety to the stream. Anyway, that is going to be probably it for this live stream. I still have a couple of things I'm working on today, so I'll probably going again. Hopefully the next live stream is going to be less depressing, less talk about tariffs and more talk about cool stuff. So I think that's about it. So hopefully you enjoyed this live stream. If you did, then make sure to subscribe, like, whatever, and I'll see you all in whatever I make next. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye.
I'll be praying this whole